Well, hello, friends. I'm Randy Eager with our new company, Strategic Storm Internet Marketing. We build and market your website strategies so that you don't have to. Welcome to our webinar, Winning Website Features Top Agents Use to Convert Leads to Sales. If you want to have an effective internet marketing campaign, you're going to need a website that's compelling and works for you. If you haven't had a chance to get to the link to the handout, you can go to strategicstorm.com/handouts/bestwebsites.pdf. I'll give that again at the end of the webinar, and you can also link to the handout at any time during the webinar by clicking on the link in the questions area of the control panel. Do so now, as that handout contains most of the slides that I'll be showing. Now also, this is a unique particular webinar in that we'll be mentioning a number of different websites featuring many of the features that we'll be going over. As I do so, don't worry about writing down or trying to figure out what the particular website is, because in the handout at the very last page, I've got each of the domain names or website addresses listed there for you so that you can go and look at them at your leisure. What you will learn today, and let's start with this. During this webinar, we'll be reviewing the top 8 website features to make your website more compelling and more rewarding to those who visit. Each of these features, used separately, can make a big difference in your website, but used together, they provide a huge boost to lead to sales conversion. For each of these website features, we'll need to discuss why each of these features works and how to implement them to make them work for you. There's a very fine line between a very pretty and professional website and one that is average looking but has huge appeal for click-throughs. Of course, none of these features would be helpful unless we discuss how to implement them. Most of these features you'll be able to modify yourself depending upon the structure of your website. Others you'll need your webmaster to implement for you. And finally, we'll be showing you some specific website widgets that basically do the work for you. We'll be discussing what a widget is and how they can work for you. Note that back in the early days of the Internet, 1995, there were only 2% of the buying public using this as a tool to help them with their buying needs. But look at how this has grown over the years. From 2% to 18, 37, 41, 71 shot up in 2003, 74, 77, 84, 87, and the last data that we have, which is the year 2009, 90% of your buyers are looking to the Internet for their assistance in their buying needs. Well, let's take a look then at the Internet versus the traditional buyer. And this is just since the year 2000. The gold line will represent the traditional buyers and the blue line will represent the Internet buyers. So just since the year 2000, we see that the traditional buyers were much more than the Internet buyers, about a ratio of 70% to 30%. But watch what happens with each succeeding year. And about the year 2004, we have the crossover, where Internet buyers start taking over traditional buyers until we get to 2009, where we have 90% of your buyers out there in some way or another are using the Internet to assist them with their buying needs, and only 10% are not using the Internet. Do you think that today's discussion is going to be worthwhile? Well, let's talk about design and content issue. Above all is being found. What's the point of having the best website on the planet if nobody knows you're there? SEO, or search engine optimization, is to website marketing as real estate agents are to home and condo marketing. Create your own website without the use of a professional to market it for you makes you a FISBO with your website marketing. And you wonder why you're not getting leads. Let's take a look at the overall design. Design can heavily affect the site's success. The reason why a viewer will stay on your website is primarily content. But with a pleasing and professional design, it will force the viewer to look just a little bit longer than they originally would have to see where the content is. This affects the site's success. Websites rise or fall depending upon content. If you never show a viewer good content, you've lost them. The content and design must dovetail one with another. The interesting thing is that good content can make up for poor design. If the viewer is engaged in reading compelling content, they won't care what the site looks like. Focus on content first, and then build your design around your content. Know what you have to say, and then figure out a way to show what you want to say. Well, let's get into our compelling features for the Superstar website. And we're going to start with 3 magic words. And you all know what these are. Search the MLS. In a recent poll taken by the National Association of Realtors, the #1 area of interest of viewers on your website were to search the MLS. Buyers want to be able to do their own searches to see what is currently listed for sale. They feel that if they get started with an agent that they don't like, they'll feel obligated to use that agent, and since the average time to search for homes is over 5 to 6 months, this is not a good lasting relationship for either the buyer or the real estate agent. This is how your prospects are searching the MLS. They're going through agent websites in the comfort of their own homes, looking for homes that meet their needs. One area of conflict is whether or not to force these prospects to sign a contact form in order to gain access to the MLS data. In many cases, I've heard agents say that they feel that this causes buyers to go elsewhere, and others say that this is the only way that they get names and email addresses of their viewers. Well, the best way that I can advise you is to try it both ways and see what works for you. Now, before we get into the first of our many website samples that I'm going to show you, let me just say that I won't have time to give you all of their domain names, so again, remember where these are located. They are in your handout on the last page, each and every one of their website addresses. Or you can always email me at the email address at the bottom left-hand corner, which is info@strategicstorm.com, and I'll be happy to send the full list to you. They're also in your handout, so you can get them there. Okay, let's take a specific look at the use of IDX or MLS access. Since this is such an important and integral part of your website, I thought I would give you some examples of those agents that get it. First of all, this is a website that exhibits most of the features that we'll be talking about today, and these are all the areas where the prospect can identify the MLS. Note that he uses an in-your-face approach to search the MLS. In the upper right-hand corner, we see that we don't even have to click on a Search the MLS button. We can just do a search from the home page. In addition, we can choose to do an advanced search as well. Note the beauty of this site in the redundancy of Search the MLS, or in his case, what he calls property search. Note how many times he has the same thing that is in the face of the buyer. The question for you is, how easy is it for your buyers to find this crucial tool? Now, our next website also uses the quick search tool to immediately grab the attention of the viewer. There is no sign-in book, just the ability to immediately search the MLS. The difference here, however, is the fact that there are several ways to quick search the listings from this page. Note how this page is totally in your face for not only the quick search, but search the MLS, as well as a very nice visual mashup displaying where the homes are located. This feature is getting easier and easier to do, as well as less expensive as well. What every seller wants to see: featured listings. One thing that we know: sellers want to stand out from the crowd. They want to know that their home and their situation is unique and worth paying more for. Therefore, your marketing must exemplify this need. Let's take a look at some good examples for this feature. The Featured Listings tool is pretty basic on most websites, but it's a must-have tool for sellers and showcasing your listings. The trick is to do it in an interesting way. For example, note how when you have a company website with a greater variety of listings, you can showcase them by property type. Here we see Search New Home Construction, Search Resale Properties, Search Luxury Tower Residences. View our featured properties, and who wouldn't like to search our 10 best values? Here we see more of a high-end website that immediately showcases their featured homes. Want to get a full multimedia presentation on the home? Simply click on the thumbnail image and up pops one to check out. Finally, we see another website that uses the featured homes in a different way. Note how this website showcases only one primary home, but has some secondary homes that we can pull up as well. This can be a powerful tool for the agent at the listing presentation. Imagine that you've already placed a photo of the seller's home in this slot. You tell them that if you can get their approval tonight, that you can leave them in the primary featured home position. But if not, you're going to have to pull them off. You get 2 wins this way. Number 1, people think you've already invested a huge amount of time on their property and them, when in fact it was probably very little. And 2, people love to see their property as the primary featured home, and hate to hear that it would have to be deleted. This is a great listing tool to be able to use with sellers. The most powerful marketing tool. Get out your pens and pencils and paper, and if you have your handout, make sure you take notes on this one. Subscribe to new listings. Or, as some people put it on their sites, new listings alert. It's the same thing. Subscribe to new listings tells the buyer, would you like to subscribe to any new listings, or would you like an alert to listings that meet your parameters? This will be your biggest money maker today. Give advance notice of listings your buyers want. What is most effective for subscribe to new listings is when you give your potential buyer the ability to fill out a form of their preferences in a new home or condo and notify them of any current listings that meet their needs, or an instant notification when a new listing comes on the market that meets these parameters. Do you think that your prospects would like to know when new listings come out that meet their particular parameters, even before other agents know about them? Well, you bet they do. And by definition, you'll need to get their name, phone number, and email in order to process this information for them. It's a real win-win for our clients that are making consistently over $100,000 just from their websites. Every one of them use this kind of tool. Subscribe to new listings to magnify their leads to sales. And I'm going to show you later on how you can implement this tool into your website. Let's take a look now at a few sites that have used this tool very well. Note that our first website doesn't even wait for you to look at a graphic or a button to fill in a form. He is in your face with the new listing notification. In other words, right from his homepage, he wants you to know that he can notify you of new listings that come on the market that meet your needs. They simply fill out the form, and he's got them captured. Now this is what we call a stealth subscribe to new listings page. It's called this as there is no branding of the agent. It's filled out by the buyer without knowledge that the agent knows of the information that they're filling out, thus the term stealth. Many buyers prefer doing their own poking around until they want to communicate with an agent. With this sample website, I'd like to show you how subscribe to new listings or new listings alert is done right. Many agents think that they're doing subscribe to new listings when in fact they're doing it backwards. In other words, they ask for the buyer's name and information first and then get to the form second. Nobody is going to give you their vital information until they can see what you're going to be giving to them. That's why this website is so powerful. Not only is the auto home search finder on the home page and in your face, but it also starts out with what the buyer wants to see, which is the form. The request for their name and email will come after the buyer is hooked or fully invested into the process. It's kind of like the old Columbo shows when Columbo would turn when getting to the door at the end of the investigation and say, "Oh, by the way." Well, you knew he had the bad guy. Thus, it is after your viewer is fully invested and has filled in your form, and your form then comes up with something to the effect of, "Oh, by the way, if you want me to email these new listings to you, I'll need to know your email and name." Well, no matter how you say it, you must be in their face with this type of graphic, button, or link so that they don't miss it. Okay, let's move to our next area. The most improperly used web feature. What is it? The static page content. Now, why do I say this is the most improperly used web feature? Because this has the most potential for you, and yet, with most agents, they are misusing this particular page the most. While it has the most power, it's being improperly used. Let's look at this. How does your homepage make your visitor feel? Remember this one word, compelling. The question is, how can you make your website more compelling? A great deal of this can happen because of your content. The question is, how can you write the content of text that will make it persuasive for your prospects to want to stay around? And in this section, we're going to talk about how to write better and more compelling content. Now, we here at Strategic Storm have taken this on as a real focus. Why? Because last year, Google changed its algorithm, or the way that it looks at ranking websites. It decided that it was getting spammed too much, and so it developed a way to read your content. And here's what it decided. If this particular page is all about, let's say, Denver homes or Denver luxury homes, and it mentioned this type of content throughout the text, then it's going to have you much higher up on the rankings. If, however, all this content is about you, how wonderful you are and how wonderful your services are, and yet nothing about Denver luxury condos or Denver homes, then it will not rank your website high in these areas. So we need to really pay attention to how to address static content. First, we need to define what a static web page is. A static web page is any page in a website that is stationary or fixed. In other words, the viewer can't change anything on it. This is why, when talking about your content pages, such as, let's say, About Me page, or your testimonials page, your communities pages, or other such descriptive pages, those are static pages. Note how this home page is actually geared around the content rather than around a glitzy multimedia show. Both can be effective for the viewer to see, but if the viewer never knows about your website because the search engine can't read it, what good is having all the glitz and glamour? In addition, the text on this page is engaging. Note that I've highlighted all the variations of Hampton's waterfront homes. This would indicate that we have a good keyword density for this particular keyword phrase. This should also show you that it's very difficult to get too many keyword phrases found per page, as there is only one title, one paragraph header, and only so much text. I think that you'll find that even today, if you go into Google and you type in Hampton's waterfront homes, you're going to find that this is the number one page that comes into Google. So, what other areas can you focus content on? By using similar keyword phrases on similar pages, you can get multiple rankings on one search. For example, you may want to put your main keyword phrase, such as, say, Denver luxury homes, on the homes page, but why not also embed it into the business climate, the communities, the cost of living, and maybe the accommodations pages. That way, multiple pages will come up on the search engines when someone types in that particular keyword phrase. And here's another website that has compelling content on it. Remember that your visitor, when reaching your homepage, wants to read content of their interest, not yours. So focus on why they might want to move to your area and the various amenities and benefits. Finally, here's a great example of well-written content that embeds the agent's keyword phrases throughout his homepage. I've isolated some of the keyword phrases to show you how this works. Because of his keyword density and other things that we've done for him, this website totally dominates his competition, even in a city as big as Pittsburgh. The Power Website Performance Tool. And now we get to the dynamic page content. Dynamic pages of your website should be appealing yet ready to capture your visitors. In other words, they need to look totally professional with several interactive tools. So, just like a Venus flytrap is attractive to bugs and insects, and yet when they land on them, the Venus flytrap encapsulates them, grabs them, and swallows them, you want to do the same thing with your website. Make it totally compelling to your visitors. And the dynamic page can help you do that. Dynamic page content is just the opposite of static page content. Where static page content can't be changed by the viewer, it's the purpose of the dynamic pages to be changed by the viewer. Here are some good examples. Here are some examples of a particular site, and you will get the ability to see what this has here that I have highlighted. This website has quite a few dynamic or interactive areas on the home page. Everything from quick search tools to email new listings, subscribe to new listings, multimedia virtual tours, videos, and online chat. Now, as we get to other and more expensive sites, we can see that there are a lot of things that you can put on a page that are interactive. Now, these are not cheap nor inexpensive to do. $5,000 will only get you started with sites like these, and most of these sites will run between $20,000 to $100,000 to do, if done right. Again, like our first site, special focus is placed upon the dynamic pages and interactivity with the viewer. Note the dual quick search widgets. The latest cool capturing feature is video tours. Video has now replaced the newspaper for good. In fact, just look now at how many newspapers are either going under or are moving to the Internet. How? Well, they have their own RSS feed pages. They have their own websites where the news actually changes much more quickly than the actual paper newspaper does. So they have had to go into the electronic versions in order just to stay alive. Now let's take a look at some examples here. Video tours are now coming into their own. With faster bandwidth and more common video players and receivers, this is becoming the viewing method of choice. Note how our first example even gives a floor plan of the home and shows which room we're viewing. Click on a different room and you jump to a video of that room. Many video programs come packaged with the service of professional voiceovers. These video tours can be done with any video camera, copied to your hard drive, and then posted to the Internet. Your videos can now be posted on YouTube, Rever, Flickr, your own website, blog site, or many other locations. Being able to put your videos on your website or blog site is absolutely huge for marketing purposes. The only caveat that I'll give here, though, is to keep them under 5 minutes. Most people's attention span is not that long. And introducing the new Internet version. Why do I put new in quotes? Well, because Web 2.0 is not really that new. However, there are many new things that are being done with Web 2.0 that you need to know about. And these are the things that we want to be aware of. Web 2.0 brings with it an entirely new way of communicating on the Internet. For example, if we look at blog sites, most of them were originally built, as you see here, with the use of text. Two important things that you'll want to make sure that you take advantage of is the use of hypertext links that you can send your viewer to for more information, and the use of RSS feeds. The latter gives your viewer the ability to subscribe to your blog site so that as you post new ideas and thoughts, these get sent to those who subscribe, just like a newspaper or magazine subscription. Want to implement your message in video? No problem. By using tools such as YouTube, the embed code is built for you to immediately pop in a video right in your blog post. Now you've got a multimedia message. How about sound? Using sound in a blog is called podcasting. Note that these can either be played in a streaming method or can be downloaded for playing on an iPod, computer, or other recording device. The key to using podcasts are to keep them short. If the viewer sees that the podcast is 9 minutes long, they may not even play it or download it. 2 to 5 minutes is absolutely best. And social networking is also taking a major place in website marketing and communication. Note that here in the old MySpace, you could actually place ads for your listings. While Facebook is more focused on personal use, it can also be used for business purposes. In fact, we can have a wonderful product that will allow you to place all your listings in your Facebook account on a See My Listings tab. And there are third-party companies that have wonderful products that you can use to take advantage of this straight from your Facebook account. Convergence of the best of the Web 2.0. What is this called? Mashups. A mashup widget or tool is the combination of several other tools combined into one tool. Another way of saying this is the convergence of several tools. Now let's take a look at some examples of what a mashup actually is. Mashups are the combination of two or more technologies. The ones that we typically see are the use of the IDX with home searches and mapping software like Google Maps. Here we see that not only can the map be aligned with the MLS listings, but other software can be used to simultaneously show us details of the property as well. What other mashup tools can we use? We can use driving directions. That's another widget. Click on driving directions and it gives the viewer exactly how to get to that particular property. Again, click on the little pin or balloon area and it takes you to the exact information on the left-hand side there for that particular property. Click on the thumbnail of the property itself and it gives you even more information on that particular property. With blueroof.com, we see the same thing. You can set your parameters for the type, style, price, and features that you want, and up pops the homes that meet those parameters, and you can see them all on a very nicely laid out map. Of course, Trulia is well known by most of you and has a wonderful database of listings. But why have these things like maps on your website? Well, the answer is not only because they're cool, but because they assist your buyer with locating properties that may be interesting to them. Remember, you want to make sure that your website is not just a neato website about how wonderful you are, but a website that is, more importantly, giving information that they want to see. By you being the one that provides them with this type of tool, you'll typically be the one they'll want to work with as well. Well, let's take a look at the summary then of the features that you absolutely positively have to have on your website. First of all, does your website have IDX or MLS access? This is what everyone is looking for, so you must have it on your website. My guess is you do, but the question is it in their face so that they can see it, or is it just a little side link to where it is hard to find? Featured listings. What your sellers need to see. This is the one area of your website that is going to showcase their listings and is a wonderful tool for you to use when going in on the listing appointment. Again, subscribe to new listings. Circle this one. This is the most important tool that you will have. Again, of all of the clients that we have from the various services that we use and that we render to people, this is the one that we always get back to a person that they make $50,000 to $100,000 a year just from their website, and this is how they do it. Subscribe to new listings, your best marketing tool. And I mentioned to you that this is the most misused page, the static web page. Content is what Google has now geared itself to. In fact, Google has its new algorithm called Google Caffeine. This is what it is focused on. So read your website and ask yourself this question. If I was Google, what would I think? that my site was all about? Myself or the information that I'm trying to get over to my viewer? Dynamic page content, this makes it too interesting to leave. Is your website dynamic? Is it compelling? And video tours are the new things that are really making your website, making those people that come to it stay around. It adds flash to your listings. Web 2.0 is now all about communication. This is where you're going to find the biggest impact with your website, especially if it is built with a blog site backbone like WordPress Professional. And mashups are the king of all tools. Why? Because they are several technologies built into one. And this is but 8 of the must-have features that you need to have on your website. Internet marketing has been left to the elite. Top agents understand the 2 facets of Internet marketing. First, they have optimized websites, making them visible to their prospects on Google. Second, they have compelling websites that make the prospect want to stay and give their information. The vast majority of these agents use the Gold SEO plan. It puts their website at the top of Google. And just some of the features in the Gold SEO plan are blog site creation and optimization, social bookmarking site submissions, competitor research analysis, link building, plus 15 more optimization features. For years, this has been our most popular SEO plan at $35.95, but it's yours for a limited time if you mention this video for only $19.95. But that's not all. Here's another idea. Allow me to introduce the Power Site, the feature-perfect website, the first website to put the power of a 10-year study finding the 20 most compelling website features to get you leads leading to sales. The Power Site is the most feature-rich, compelling website on the market today. Some of the features in the Power Site include the Gold SEO plan. That alone is a $3,600 value. A professional rotating feature property slideshow. Subscribe to new listings or the new listing alerts. Video trailer inserts, plus 16 more compelling features. And because it includes the Gold SEO plan, it's our best value. And all of this for only $19.95. Call us today and ask to see available live sites and testimonials. For more information and to order, call 800-277-1316. Use your smartphone to click on the QR barcode shown or order online at ourpowersites.com. Use your credit card to secure these special offers. Don't delay. Call 800-277-1316 now. Plus, if you call today, not only can you get these special prices, but you can also get our bundled pricing for both products for only $29.95. This limited time offer will only be available for those who mention this video offer. Remember the words of Theodore Roosevelt. In any moment of decision, the best thing that you can do is the right thing. The next best thing is the wrong thing. And the worst thing that you can do is nothing. Well, the decision is yours to make. We hope to hear from you, and have a great day.